Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We rented movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained as pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the feeling bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweety are here to say it's the Large Marge sent us podcast. Hey.
You took the potion.
What do you know about that?
You took the potion too.
Well, I hardly needed it.
So that's why you look the way you do.
Then you are dead. When did you take it anyway?
October 26, 1985, way before you.
What are you two talking about?
The potion.
What potion?
How much did you pay? Everything I had, and that was cheap.
You took a potion?
Beauty book my butt.
Wait a second.
Free weights, exercise.
I don't think this is a miracle at all.
You're a fraud, Helen. You're a walking lie, and I can see right through you.
Speaking of which, as a friend, some advice. I would stay out of a bathing suit for a while. At least a two-piece.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Sent Us podcast, your favorite podcast where two Sweety sisters talk about movies that altered their amazing childhood. Altered in a good way. I'm looking for new verbs.
Yeah, it's hard.
Now that we're almost 50 episodes in.
50
Maybe just
years
40.
old. Yeah, not too close
Almost
yet.
40?
This is 40, yeah.
Oh my God, this is 40.
This is 40.
Hey. Clinky, clinky.
Clonks.
Happy 40, everybody. So this is Large Marge Sent Us. I'm one of your hosts, Sweety.
I'm your other host, Sweety.
And today we're continuing on our theme about
Goldie Hawn.
I was going to say women's role in Hollywood.
Okay. And Goldie Hawn movies.
Yeah. Totes.
I said I wanted to watch this movie, and I was like, wait, is it too much Goldie Hawn? And Sweetie was like, is that a thing?
Yeah, that's not a thing.
It's not. So,
It's a gem.
what's the movie?
Today we did Death Becomes Her.
Dun, 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 dun.
1992.
Masterful.
What were you doing in
92?
1992?
Let's see. I don't know how old. Can't do math.
What?
I don't care.
4, 5, 6.
I don't care about
You were
that
6
math
years-
shit.
You were 6 years old.
All right. So what? I was in kindergarten.
Damn. Oh my God. Tiny tot.
Yes, but I mean the thing with these movies is that we watch them like far past when they were released.
When do you
So-
remember you probably first watched this?
Well, I just remember always renting it at the video store.
wow.
Like I remember the VHS box,
Yeah.
and at this video store we had
Idle Times.
Idle Times down the street. Just like the video boxes were on the shelf,
Yes.
and then they got the tape for you and when you got it out. So I just remember like all those empty boxes, and they had like a piece of cardboard in them.
Was
so that-
Video Store one of the ones like businesses we ever played? I feel like it
think
was,
so.
wasn't it?
No, not for me.
I always
played-
but I always wanted to work there. It seemed like the funnest
you
job
could've.
to like match the number and being like, okay.
Why did you work at the Chocolate Sparrow instead?
I know. Well, the woman at Idle Times didn't really like need help. It was a family business. She wasn't going to pay employees.
I suppose. No, I only played Office / being an adult, Mom / being an adult, single mom with a car, and then school.
Mm-hmm.
I pretended I was one of 9 puppies.
I think you're forgetting like some of the
And
other
then
ones we did.
Cookie we played where I was the dog Cookie.
Let's remember library. Hello. We
Library.
always said library.
Making the cards. Yep.
Grocery store.
Oh, grocery store. Yes. Check
After
out
we get the groceries.
Fish
Market. That was the best one.
You want some cherry stones? Here's a bunch of rocks.
Super weird tangent we're going on here.
And Pilgrims and Indians when you
Pilgrims and
tied me to a
Indians.
tree and set it on fire. Not really.
We
but-
had some good games.
Or you locked me in the shed. That was it.
So I have to say that I think this is maybe the third time I've ever seen this movie. This is
Oh,
not one.
Congratulations.
I think it's awesome that this is one that like you can pinpoint to be like, oh my God, I watched this all the time when I was little. I would have been like a little bit older and didn't even get, I don't know, like when you were renting this, where was I? I guess I wasn't watching it with you.
Busy doing ballet or
She's
something.
busy.
I mean, as far as I know, nobody liked this movie until fairly recently. I always thought that people like just wrote it off because they didn't understand that it was supposed to be like cheesy and almost satirical in a way. I think, and I don't think it was until recently that people started really understanding that and realizing what a masterful piece of cinema it is, and that it's some of the best performances of all time.
Wow.
Thank you.
Big words.
I just think it's really good. I think this is one of Bruce Willis's best roles.
Yeah.
I will say it.
I'll echo
And yeah, so it's just it's always been one of my faves. And it always spoke to me because of the scary elements and the creepy elements always had a place in my heart.
I think I could do any more bone cracking noises. That was
yeah.
bugging me,
you
man.
were really stressed out.
Yikes.
But yeah, so the movie stars.
Meryl Streep.
This is our first Meryl Streep.
Yeah, Meryl.
movie.
You know, it was like, Meryl Streep does some like really good movies. I don't think she's going to make it into a lot of like the ones on this podcast. So I'm glad we got to do this one.
Yeah, true.
Because obviously amazing. Our friend
Goldie Hawn.
Goldie Hawn. Now, third movie we've done with her. This might be other than like Savage September, where we did so many Fred Savage movies.
It's true. He wins.
I think our first woman to hit 3 in a row, or at 3 at all. As we said, Bruce Willis, who I always forget in this because he seems to me unrecognizable. Mm-hmm. Not in the way he acts, but like also obviously the way he looks. So every time I see photos from this movie, I'm like, who dat?
It's masterful. It's masterful.
Yeah. No, he does great. I'm really impressed. And then
Isabella Rossellini.
Rossellini.
Right. Isabella. Yeah.
Isabella Rossellini.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Fabio. Cameo. But yeah. Classic 1992 flick about eternal life and girl fighting. I don't know. Frenemies?
Yeah. I would say there's like 2 key themes here, obviously. Like aging of women in society and like what that does to their psyche and to be like wanting to be young forever. So both these women, well, one is in the film industry, so that's like a huge point. The other one isn't, but she kind of does it as like revenge. Mm-hmm. And then second, yes, women, those weird women relationships where you're friends, but you're actually like super competitive and actually hate each other.
Yeah. We've all had them. Maybe.
Yeah.
So I guess it's time.
It's time for the Sweety synopsis. Dunka, dunka, dunka. Yeah.
Sweeties. That's a good one. Madeline Ashton and Helen Sharp are frenemies. I don't know how long they've been friends. I don't know how long they've known each other. Okay, high school. You were paying more attention than I was.
So when she has like,
even though I've seen it a million times,
she has like her mirror at her house, and she has all these pictures of Madeline, and they have their yearbook photo, and it said like sophomore year, and they were like one above, like Madeline was above her in the yearbook.
You're smart. I know, really smart. Okay.
So
they've been frenemies since high school. They're friends, but they really hate each other. In the beginning, Helen takes her fiance, Herman?
Ernest. You were like sounding out that H so hard. I was like, no, don't do it.
Do you know why I thought that? Because and then if I thought that was it, I would have been like Herman Melville.
So I read in the IMDb trivia that it's Madeline, Ernest, and Helen.
Oh,
and it's like it's supposed to be madder than hell.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. That's pretty.
Always
that's
always something you learn. Yeah. Just keeps. I mean, wow. Yeah. Okay. So her fiance Ernest Melville, right?
Why do you keep saying Melville?
Isn't that his last name?
I have no idea.
Dr. Melville. Helen brings her fiance Ernest to see Madeline's show on Broadway, which is a disaster, and everybody's walking out of it. But Ernest is kind of like in love with her glorious
joie de vivre.
Yeah, sure, exactly. So they go backstage and they meet her, and Madeline's instantly like, "Oh, Helen has a new fiance. I want him now. I want him for myself." So she puts on the charm on, and you kind of see Ernest kind of falling in love with her. Helen's very upset. She says that Madeline does this to all of her boyfriends and steals all of them because she doesn't want her to be happy. And he assures her that that is not the case. Cut to the next scene. He's getting married to Madeline. It's very funny. And then Helen is watching from the balcony and comes down the stairs very upset. Yeah. So begins the crux.
Right. So then it's so many years later, and Helen is this large, fat cat lady. Not into the cat lady stereotype, just going to say. Her cupboards are full of icing, frosting and canisters, if you will, and there's cats every which way. So she's super fat, and she's just watching movies that Madeline has done. Now Madeline's this big movie star, and there's just one movie where she gets murdered and choked to death. So she just watches it on repeat. And then the landlord comes and is you need to pay rent because I guess she doesn't leave the apartment. Finally, they break down the door and they take her away to a mental hospital. So then they're at the mental hospital, and she's been in therapy for 6 months, and she still's not getting over that Madeline did her wrong, blah, blah. The therapist takes her in her office and is okay, we've been 6 months on this. You haven't gotten over this. We're no one is winning here. How can we fix this? She says something that unlocks the key.
You need to eliminate
her.
Eliminate
her.
her. And Helen's what?
Yeah.
Yes,
which
exactly.
To her, kill her, right?
So meanwhile, cut to Madeline and Ernest's life, which is very unhappy.
So that's 7 years from that.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
So 14 from the start of the film. And she's just very mean to him. She's very vain. She's very upset that she's aging and doesn't look like a young fox anymore. And Ernest has basically become an alcoholic and sleeps in his office upstairs. So it's not happy. It's not a happy relationship.
And he was a plastic surgeon, a really up and coming rising star plastic surgeon, and has now, I don't know if he just lost his license or
I think it was because of the alcoholism.
Yeah, so he couldn't practice anymore. So now he's a
mortician. Because
you
can't kill dead people.
Yeah,
they already dead.
They already did it.
So one day Madeline gets an invitation to Helen's book release party. And she's oh, please, what's the book about? How to stay fat or something? So they go, and they see Helen, and she is a knockout, guys. She is hot bod, awesome, red dress, red hair, so good, bright red lipstick. Madeline is beside herself. She's horrified and is how could this happen? Blah, blah. And then... They go home. Madeline leaves to go hook up with her hot side piece guy, and then Helen comes over to the house and tries to convince Bruce Willis's character that they should kill Madeline so that they can be rid of her and they can be together.
Yeah, because Helen is always blamed Madeline for the whole thing, even though her husband left her. It was always to get back Ernest. So at the same time, Madeline goes to her little boy toy's house, and he's hooking up with a younger woman. So Madeline is 50, and her boy toy is probably 25 or whatever. So she gets rejected, and then earlier that day she had went to her plastic surgeon or whatever person. She was getting some sort of blood treatment, where you take your blood out and get new blood in, sort of transfusion kind of stuff. I think she was doing. So they wouldn't let her do it. You can only do it every 6 months, and she wanted it a couple weeks in. So they give her this card for this woman named Liesel, who lives in this castle in the hills. So initially she tears up the card. She's oh my God, I don't need this, whatever. Is in the depths of despair after her boy toy kind of kicks her out and rejects her. Finds the card, goes to the woman's house. It is freaky city.
Why is it so freaky?
Well, it's this beautiful, I don't even know what that is, mansion, castle,
church
in Hollywood. Yeah, it's one of those, almost you wouldn't really see that around here. Rooms that are so empty, lots of stone. There's this big pool. Anyway. She meets Isabel Rossellini, who basically doesn't believe in shirts. Let's be honest. Her first outfit is a necklace shirt.
I'm obsessed. I wrote.
Me too.
I wrote down necklace halter top.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was how about that necklace shirt? So it's just this crazy necklace that just covers her boobs.
A lot of beads.
And then she has a sarong kind of thing on. Obviously, beautiful woman. She's this great, awesome. I don't know if you know who Isabel Rossellini is. So she's the daughter of Ingrid Bergman. And she is Italian, I think. Yeah. So she has like an accent, but she's like totally just like such an interesting looking face, and she's this great like dark black hair and this like short haircut that like right to her chin. Yeah, she's just like really cool looking. Has this cool eye makeup and stuff. So she tells her that she has this magic potion that will keep her young forever.
Are you talking quietly so the neighbors don't hear the secret?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, so it keeps her life forever for a pretty price. Apparently it's very expensive because she writes something down and Madeline's like, oh, please, I'm out of here. And then...
What was that number?
And we'll never know.
And then she burns it. So, like, you're not supposed to know, I guess. But,
yeah.
But she has the money, though.
Yeah, so she doesn't care. And then she gives her an example. So she pricks her finger with a knife and then puts the potion into it. And then she watches her hand before her, like dramatically reduce in age, and it comes all like pretty and nice, and she's like convinced and excited. So she buys the potion, downs it. As she's leaving, she looks in the mirror and she instantly starts changing into her younger, more beautiful self. So like her butt gets nice and tight. She like has a waist again. Her boobs perk up. Her face looks younger. It's really cool how they did it.
Right.
It's kind of the opposite. So they like aged her with makeup to make her look older than she was, so that when the transformation happened, it was like cooler.
Yeah, and I was trying to like pinpoint how they did it, because so when they're like at the point where they're going to turn into like younger people, they're supposed to be 50. So I think when Meryl Streep made this movie, she was in her like early 40s, I guess I would say. So I think what they did is they like her hair was like white, kind of grayish, and she didn't have like they had her like normal boobs, so they didn't have it like pushed up. I think they put like padding into her butt and stuff, so it made it look kind of like frumpy. And then and they did something with makeup to make her skin look older. So so they just kind of made her who actually the age that she was.
Tricky,
kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And you don't see that with the Goldie Hawn character because she was.
We don't know she took it yet. So
yeah, you don't. You're right. Sorry, spoiler. Anyway, go on.
So Madeline is very excited and goes back home. Ernest and Helen have just finished hatching their plan, so he's kind of excited about that, I guess, and kind of has grown a pair in the last few minutes, where he never had a pair ever in his life, apparently.
A pair of pants?
Balls. Talking about balls.
Owls.
Testicles. Testes. So Madeline comes home, and she's like, what are you doing here? And she's just so excited. She puts on this like hot, like black jumpsuit type thing, stretch pants. I don't know what that was. It's cool.
Tiny little waist.
Tiny waist.
Cynthia Rhodes' tiny little waist.
Yeah. So then Ernest they start to kind of get in a fight, and she calls him a bunch of terrible names and like questioning his manhood, which I just did a little while ago. Whoops. It's true though. He ends up basically pushing her down the stairs, and she falls and breaks her neck and is lying dead at the bottom of the stairs. So Ernest freaks out and runs to the phone and calls Helen, and she's mad. She's like, why did you call me first? You're supposed to call the cops. So they start hatching a new plan about what to do to cover this up. Meanwhile, in the background, and this is my favorite scene of this.
That's my favorite scene.
Meanwhile, in the background, dramatic irony at its finest, folks. Madeline is slowly coming back alive, and like her joints are all like messed up, and she's like wobbly. She like is like falling, kind of like coming over, and then she gets closer, and you see that her head is completely on backwards because her neck is broken in such a way that it's like twisted. So she's facing behind her, and then she taps Ernest on the shoulder, and she says something like mean or so you pushed me down the stairs, and Bruce Willis does this great scream and runs away. So Helen doesn't know any of this happened because the phone like unplugged when he ran away from it.
Even Madeline is confused, like what has happened.
She
to
doesn't
her.
really understand either. She's just like, you can't believe you pushed me down the stairs, you jerk. And then he's like, Madeline, there's something wrong with you. And she's like, why am I looking at my ass? Like, why am I looking at my ass?
She's still alive, but she has all these injuries, but she doesn't feel pain.
Right, she doesn't feel pain. So they take her to the doctor, connection there. And the doctor freaks out because apparently she is like clinically dead. Yeah. She has no heartbeat. Her temperature is 80 degrees, he said. And her neck is completely broken. There's like a bone sticking out. Yeah.
So this is the part that I forgot of this plot. And like, you should be like, yeah, duh, sweetie. Like, it's death becomes her so that they die. But I thought with the potion, they like came back to life. I didn't realize that they like died and stay dead. I mean, obviously, like that's the whole movie because they have to keep getting fixed and stuff. But I thought that once like that potion would just like make them heal up again. I like completely blanked on the fact that like they're actually dead and their body has, and like why they need that maintenance is because like their heart isn't beating. Yeah, they don't have blood circulating from them. They're like they turn white.
Yep, they did.
Yep.
So the doctor has a heart attack in the next room. There's no doctors around. Madeline passes out because the doctor just told her she's dead. Ernest goes back to the room. And Madeline's gone. She's like, where they take her? And the nurse is like, they took her to the morgue. He's like, the morgue? She'll be so angry.
She's gonna hate that.
Yeah, she's gonna hate that. So he runs down there, finds her out of the freezer, takes her out. She's upset. He brings her home. Helen sees them coming back, and she's very confused because she knows that he told her that Madeline is dead, but yet he's pulling out what looks like her lifeless body. Because I guess she passed out again?
So she passed out, and because she has no heartbeat,
Oh, yeah.
that's why they thought she was dead.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But like the second time, like when he gets her from the morgue and puts her in the car, like I guess she passed out again. I don't know. It's fuzzy on the details. So Helen goes inside and is like, what the hell did you do with her? And meanwhile, Ernest was just patching up Madeline in his office, which I guess he turned into like a temporary mortuary.
Funeral home?
And like uses his secret spray painting technique to like get her skin color back to like looking normal.
Yeah, because you find out like it's kind of in the beginning he's talking to someone at a bar about how he is a mortician, and like this woman's like, oh, you were my aunt, whatever, Linda's mortician. Like she looks so great. Like I was almost ashamed to bury her. And he starts telling this woman the secret, which is spray paint. Like regular makeup doesn't sit on dead people because their pores are now completely dry and their skins have like, have no oils and like.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes total sense. And the woman like flips out at him. And it's
She's
like,
mad.
hello, your aunt whatever was dead.
She was mad. But anyway, so then Madeline comes down the stairs and is like, overhears them talking about the plan they had to kill her. And so she's very upset. Grabs a gun, shoots Helen in the stomach. Helen flies into the fountain.
Is that what happens if you get
presumably
shot
dead.
with a
I don't think
shotgun?
so. I always think about that. I'm like, I don't think that's what happens.
I mean, it's pretty bad, but
And
I
it
don't
was
think
very
it would
close.
be.
It was literally, it was like touching her
Maybe
stomach.
it is what happens.
Will we ever know? I don't know if anyone's ever done that before.
Yeah, I'm sure there have.
Revolutionary War. I
mean,
don't know.
I've seen shotguns in faces. I mean, that's like
In real life.
a lot of people commit suicide because a shotgun is long, so you can like put it in your mouth and like you pull the trigger.
So you've seen like the after pictures.
No, but I'm pretty sure that's how Ernest Hemingway committed suicide. Don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure.
Shit.
Yeah. He's very depressed.
So Madeline and Ernest get a tarp to start loading her body on, and then all of a sudden she gets up from the fountain too because she took the potion.
Oh my God. Yeah.
10 years ago, though.
Right.
Way before.
And like, how did she have enough money to do it?
Well, remember, Isabel Rossellini says the price is different for everyone. So, like, if you don't have a lot of money, she'll like take whatever you can have.
That seems like a bad business.
And yet, she has a giant house, castle.
Right. And I know she like
church.
caters to rich people. But.
Yeah. So. Exactly. So the two women kind of like go at it. Ernest is freaking out, like leaves, goes upstairs while the two women are like dueling with shovels. And eventually they finally realize that it's pointless because they can't kill or hurt one another. So they stop and they kind of make up and they're like, you're right. I did like ruin your life on purpose.
That was a great part for frenemies to finally just confess.
And
like,
admit,
hey, I really did hate you. Helen confesses that she thought Madeline was cheap, which I think means like her family was poor.
Oh,
I don't know what that meant. Like she wouldn't invite her to the parties because she was like a cheap. I don't know. I feel like they use that in a weird way.
I thought it meant like slutty. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Anyway, and Madeline admits that she did do things to
Purposely
make her
hurt you.
upset. Yeah.
Purposely hurt her.
So stole her boyfriends to purposely hurt her because she hated her too.
Yep.
So they make up and they decide, like we both have this potion now. We're going to be living forever. Like, let's be friends. However, they're going to need someone to fix them up.
And who should they need but Ernest? However, he's on the way out. So what are they going to do? So he promises, all right, I'll fix you up one last time and then I'm out of here. They're like, we can't have that happen. So they hatch a plan. There's a lot of plans in this. A lot of plans being hatched to drug him or like knock him out and bring him over to Liesl's so that they can give him the potion and he can stay with them forever and just like continuously like patch them up for the rest of their lives, I guess. However, that plan does not go so well because right when he's about to take the potion, he realizes that it's actually a terrible idea.
Yes.
That you don't want to live forever and that his only company is going to be these two horrible women who have basically ruined his life. So he decides not to. He makes a run for it. Meanwhile, Liesl's having this like giant party for all her clients. All these like famous people are around, like Marilyn Monroe,
celebrities,
Elvis, etc. Right?
Because we didn't say the condition of taking the potion is that you can be young and youthful for 10 years, but then after that you have to like go out of the public eye. You can't be seen. So they recommend that you fake your own death. So all these celebrities who had sort of like unfortunate deaths. So Elvis, Jim Morrison, Marilyn Monroe, Andy Warhol is there.
Who does
James
not look
Dean.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny. Very funny little joke there. So Ernest makes a run for it. Madeline and Helen see him. They chase him up to the top. He kind of falls off the building and is hanging by his suspenders. And they're like, Ernest, take the potion. You'll live. You won't die. And once again, he thwarts them and like drops it and is like, I'll never, like, I'm not going to do what you tell me anymore.
Yeah,
like,
screw it.
You're out of luck. And he falls, but not to his death. He falls and crashes into the pool in the basement. So he's still alive. But he escapes in the end and runs off, I think. So cut to 37 years later at Ernest's funeral. He has lived a wonderful, happy life since leaving the two women. He is remarried, had a lot of kids, adopted a lot of kids, has like founded all these things. And then you see in the back, there's two women in the very back with like black veils over their face. Guess who it is? It's Madeline and Helen. And they're kind of laughing at his funeral. And they're like, oh, little loser, still a loser after all this time. And then they get up to leave because they left their can of spray paint somewhere and they have to go find it. They pull up their veils and they are terrifyingly gross now. And I mean, I guess I'm assuming they've just died and decayed this whole time and not a real expert to patch them up anymore.
Yeah.
So they look terrifying.
But wait, so you missed the part where, so the priest is saying, like, as they're leaving, they're like, screw this is so dumb. Like, let's leave this funeral. And the priest goes, Ernest figured out the key to eternal life. And it like stops them in their tracks because they're like, oh, did he like find out something we didn't know? And the priest says something like really, which is like kind of, I think, the theme of the whole movie, that, you know, you live on in your people you meet and the family you leave behind, and that like eternal youth is in, like your relationships with people and basically your life. Like it's not about staying young at all. That's just like a stupid concept. And then you see them hobbling out like just disgusting, like droopy eyelid, skin all mottled. I mean, it's really nasty.
Yeah, it's really gross. And then they walk out to the parking lot fighting, and then you see the spray paint can underneath a step. They step on it and fall down the stairs, and their bodies literally break into pieces, and their heads are just rolling around, and they're still alive. Like, I don't know what you call that when you're alive but you're dead. I don't know.
Maybe it'll be like in Monster Squad where the body's just like the body parts just like come
that
back
part
together.
Always gives me so much anxiety because I'm like, who found them? What happened after that? Did they get like what happens when you get like incinerated and you have that like I don't know.
I don't think they should have.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, I think that ending is not good. I thought the church ending and all that stuff was good, but I don't like the exact last scene.
It's
I think
just
it's
another
dumb
gag.
Yeah.
So then they're like, "Do you remember where you parked the car?" And then it ends. So the rest of their life is just terrible. Ugh. Now they're stuck with each other for all eternity. So it's a lesson learned. Don't live forever. Whew, I'm tired. This is a long one. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. I guess I never really paid attention to that last scene where the priest is talking, and like it just makes so much sense. Like they were searching all this time for eternal life when it turns out like the key to that was really within them the whole time if they had lived a more healthier and
like, being a good person,
being a better person.
Like they were
life.
such horrible people. I mean, Helen wasn't as much for me, but I wrote down that this was the first movie I've ever seen where I'm like, I hate Meryl Streep in this. I mean, her character, not her, but like
Devil Wears Prada. This is like
she's
the
so
beginning.
likable in that to me though, because you like see there's like, especially at the end of Devil Wears Prada when you find out that she kind of has had like the thing with her husband and like she's actually a real person in that like outer shell.
I always thought that her character in that was like influenced by it.
I would say
by this
but
character.
like I mean, it's almost like if you saw Tom Hanks in like a really horrible role, which I've yet to see, of a bad person. I mean, we like Road to Perdition, but actually I think he's actually good in that. Like does bad things, but
what's that called? That like anti-hero, like you're still
yeah
or the likable. What's it? Is it an anti-hero? I guess it is. Like Don Draper or Tony Soprano, like bad people
but Meryl
with hearts.
Always is so admirable in like all the characters that she plays, and I'm certain she picks those characters like for a reason, because she does do well in them, as does Tom Hanks. You know, very like likable everyman. Not that I don't think Meryl's like an every woman.
They've been in a movie together.
Meryl and Tom? I don't know. Oh my God, the screen would like blow up.
Maybe they have, and I just can't think of it.
Should research that. But yeah, so I said this was the first time like I was like, oh my God, this woman is so despicable, and she's supposed to be, and you're supposed to hate her. But yeah, it was tough for me because I fucking love Meryl, and she looked awesome in this. And I'm going to say that like I think Goldie Hawn has had work done. I'm going to say this as like no judgment, Goldie. Like I love you till the end. But this movie is a lot about like women and how like being eternally young is a goal for like all women,
which is a similar theme to her character in First Wives Club.
Yes, no, that's why it was like such a great jump to this one.
Yeah,
but I said when we were watching this that like Meryl Streep, as far as I know, has not had any work done in his age so like lovely and gracefully. Yeah. I mean, she looks older now, but she's like still playing
embracing
like,
it, yeah.
pretty like bomb roles and yeah. Just proud of you, Meryl.
We are proud of you. So I would like to say that I don't know a ton about movie special effects, et cetera, but I'm still very impressed by the special effects in this movie. Sometimes, I mean, they do the seam show in some places, sure, but I'm still very, I don't know, like the hole in the stomach one always gets me. Like, I just think that is so well done.
I thought so. The whole scene. I mean, I even said this when we were watching it. When Meryl Madeline falls down the stairs the first time, where Ernest pushes her down, and I was like, Sweety, confusion here. I was like, whoa! I was like, how did they film that with a stunt double? I mean, she was like, so this horrible part. So the first like. She falls, and then her neck gets on this one step with this force, and it's this bone cracking sound. I'm very okay with medical stuff. That blood doesn't skeeve me out. I think like all the innards are very interesting. Like I'd watch surgeries, and I'm fine. For some reason, bone cracking like drives me bananas. I think I broke my foot like years ago, and when I was in dance class, I jumped on it, and I've heard that noise in real life, and it is the freaking worst thing ever. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. But anyway, so like you see her neck actually breaking, and it's just like, oh,
yeah, it's terrifying.
And her whole like kind of shtick through the rest of the movie is that her neck is broken. So that was like the injury that killed her. So like that affects her through the rest of the film, where she just has this like floppy neck at one point because Goldie Hawn like hits her with a shovel, and her neck is like all fucked up again. It like shrinks like way down. Remember, like I don't know how they were able to fix that.
Just pull it back up, and then she had that necklace that like African.
No, but like, Ernest must have had to fix something to make it stand up permanently.
Surgeon, sort of. So it's
he
was a good person to do that.
So I thought the effects were good too.
And yeah, I mean, and then like I said, there's some places where they show like that it's an effect, but I think for the most part, like I'm very impressed. So I asked this question on Twitter, but I will ask you as well. Would you rather have a hole in your stomach or a broken neck, and you'd have to live with it the rest of your life?
Well, but like Goldie Hawn's was fixed, so it didn't affect her anymore. Well, I guess broken neck was too.
Yeah.
But so like non-fixed?
Yeah, non-fixed.
Oh, hole in stomach.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
I think would be a good party gag, and like and probably some weight. Like, you don't need to worry about eating, but also like where, I guess when you're dead, you don't have to eat is another aspect of this.
You never do see them eat.
Yeah, which I never
That
thought about
sucks.
until now.
Oh my God, I would never want to live forever and not eat.
Yeah, but not everybody's supposed to die. Like, it's their fault that they fucked. So like
That's
the
why I was so
number one
confused.
rule that Isabel Rossellini says is take care of yourself. Like, don't hurt your body or harm it or like break it, because it's the one you're going to be with it for a very long time.
But then after they die and the whole thing, and even when they're older, when it's a 37 years in the future scene, their like legs are all like fucked up and everything because they've continued to have injuries, you think?
I'm sure they just didn't. I mean, it says something when like as soon as Meryl Streep takes the potion, she falls down the stairs or something. Like, it's obviously that they would get into those situations at some point, and they just don't take care of themselves.
And they're probably like pushing each other around.
yes, yeah. So I'm
they're
assuming
so
it has
like
something
frail
to do with
and
that.
fragile.
Yeah, and they're dead, like bones, so they're very brittle, and
Well,
you
that's
know,
the thing. Like, there's, I mean, regardless, if you're thinking about this even like scientifically, like you would not be like a walking body, and you could not last 37 years and even just look like them. I mean, they would have been skeletons. You would have been rotting. Like, you don't have any. The thing with skin is that it's like constantly being rejuvenated because like you're alive and there's blood flowing through you. You know, like. So that's a little unrealistic, Robert Zemeckis.
don't think about it too much.
I know. I'm like, this movie is so against science.
Silly. So the other thing about this movie is that it, as much as I loved it, it definitely fed into my anxiety about eternal life that I had as a child, because we read Tuck Everlasting in 5th grade.
Sorry.
You really love Tuck Everlasting.
I never.
Huh?
I like remember the cover of that book, but
Yeah.
I've never read it.
Oh wow. But it just, whenever I get like see movies like this or like think
Why
about
are they
it,
everlasting again? Because
there's
the
a
well,
yeah,
on the
it was
family
like
farm.
the Fountain of Youth sort of thing. So it just like stresses me out to think that somebody could live forever, because in my head I just think of all these scenarios, and then the last thing I always think of is like, when the world explodes, would you just be like floating in space, like still alive?
Would you finally die?
I don't know. I don't think you ever would. I don't know. That's like in this, when they're broken in pieces, if they get like incinerated in a crematorium, what would happen?
No, I think you're officially dead. If your brain is gone, like
Their brain's been gone this whole time.
no. I mean, it's still in the body.
Yeah, but it's getting like too scientific right now.
I mean,
like, I can't think about it too
I
much.
echo Bruce Willis's thoughts. I mean, I just think about this in general about living. My friend told me like a couple of years ago that like as we get older, like our new lifespan is going to be like, for our generation, like 120, which I don't know if I believe that, because actually it decreased for men this year lifespan.
Why?
For the first time. I don't know. But as technology gets better, you know, like they're all like, oh, you know, 40 is the new 30. We keep kind of like dialing that back a little bit. But I always think, and this is what Bruce Willis character says in the movie, that like, well, everyone around me is going to be dead. I'm going to have to see that. Like, there's no way I want to be like an old person, and the only people around me I know are like 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it
forget
sucks.
that.
It's
That
not
would
good.
suck.
It's not a good look.
If I don't know anybody, all of my friends are dead. All of my family, the people I've had the closest relationships to, I'm sorry. Like, I don't
would have
want
had
to be
to,
there
like,
either.
Bury like 20 pets.
Yeah.
Be like so sad.
No, forget it. How many cats would you have at that time?
I don't know. They'd all be dead. Can you give your cat the potion? Does it work on animals?
I mean, if you have a cat, if you live to be 80 and you have cats for 20 years,
True, you only need like 3 or 4 cats your
Right.
whole life.
So that's not that many.
It's not too bad. But yeah, that stressed me out the fuck out.
Sorry that stressed you out.
Just sometimes I think about that, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, because some people fear death, but I fear constant consciousness.
Oh my God.
Like, what if when you die, you're just like, your mind is still on in the coffin, and you're just
Stop.
in there.
Ew, I can't.
I know.
No.
That's what I see. This is
Shuts
what
off.
keeps me up at night. So like, like dying to me sounds exciting. Like, as Dumbledore or Harry Potter or whatever said, like, to the well-trained mind, death is but the next great adventure. So you know what? Embrace it. Also, by the time, hopefully, when you get to the point where you're gonna die, you're ready for it, and you're like, oh, it's just gonna be going to bed after like a long.
Who knows, man?
Long time awake. So, yeah, but we'll see. But anyway, so yeah, that was my As much as I loved it, that kind of stressed me out.
I can't think about that. It's to me the equivalent to trying to count the grains of sand on a beach. I find, or like the stars in the sky.
Yeah.
I have like this sort of like headache of like crazy existential stuff, and I just have to like shut it down and be like, nope, not thinking about it, can't do it.
So true.
Anyway,
It's okay. It's gonna be okay.
I'll be fine. Hope I can sleep tonight. So this film was directed by Robert Zemeckis. I always say that wrong. Who, if you ever hear like him talked about in the industry, people call him Bob, which I think is the greatest thing.
Who else called him Bob?
Every like podcast I've heard to, they're like, yeah, so me and Bob Zemeckis.
Yeah, it goes by Bob. It's
Yeah,
like,
I know. It makes sense. But like when like their full name is obviously like their, and like this happens a lot with directors or some actors too, where the people who really know them always call them by like their nickname, and you're like, yeah,
Marty.
because they're real people. Yes, Martin Scorsese. Everyone's like
Marty. Yeah.
Marty Scorsese. Oh, you know,
wow,
Marty.
They must be in. They must be.
I know. I just love that. It's just like I know those people are real people, but just hammers that home. Anyway, so we were talking about earlier about how this director has like directed so many amazing films that we love, pretty much like most of them. And he's just like a great director. So Back to the Future series. Yeah. Forrest Gump. Yeah. What Lies Beneath. Love that one. Contact.
Yeah. You didn't write any others down.
There were some new ones. There was some Castaway, which like I didn't.
Oh, he did that? Yeah.
But the Man on Wire, the one which is not called that, but it's the Tightrope Walker.
Oh yeah. With Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, that one was a new one. I really did want to see that because I heard like it was the last half of it was like so good, not the first half. But super solid, and obviously, if you directed Back to the Future, we're like, great.
I know. Yeah, I studied his. I was in a music in the movies class in high school.
Me too.
I think I took it because you took it. Like I just
did. You have Lisa Brown, the teacher, or was it someone else?
It's Miss Bevan.
Okay.
So. But
that's such a good class.
I know.
Though.
So the like final or like one of the projects we had to do was pick a scene from a movie with music and like dissect it, whatever. So I remember you do like the Goonies and you like switch the music to, or yours was different. Mine was like dissecting the score in that scene, like what it's saying about the movie.
That's good though.
So I did Back to the Future, and it was the scene from when when Doc shows him the time machine and the Libyans come, that scene up into when he gets to the Hill Valley in the 50s and like, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream, yes. So I was very familiar with Alan Silvestri's music, so I knew when the score started, I was like, oh, that's going to be another. So they work closely together, just like Tim Burton and Danny Elfman do, Steven Spielberg and John Williams. You find these pairs and directors,
which makes sense.
And so yeah.
Well, music in movies is so cool because it's one of those things that like sometimes you don't notice it. I think most people don't. Like a really good score, like you'd almost like don't even notice it. It just fits so well. It's like just part of the movie, not something that's like called out. But if you really start to look at those scores, they are like amazing pieces of music. And then once you can get that into your mindset of being like really just listening to the music, it will like change how you like see things
and everything. Yeah, everything has such a purpose.
Yes.
And you don't realize that until you learn things. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Highly recommend you take a music in the movies class.
So the one I did was so Sweety was saying, I did the Goonies, and like the scene where they jump into like what ends up being those little water slides that go down into like the big place where One-Eyed Willie's ship is. We will be doing Goonies, by the way. It's my favorite movie of all time, so I'm like, we're saving it to just, I'm a little scared to do it, to be honest. But anyway, so the assignment was you take a movie scene and you change the music and change the feeling of the scene with that music. So in the Goonies, that scene was like them going down the water slide, and it's all like happy, like this kind of silly music, and it's supposed to be like a fun water slide, and the kids are kind of freaking out. So I changed it to this like crazy like opera, like very scary sort of doom music, which made it seem like a very scary scene versus like the fun scene that was portrayed when you have more of lighthearted music. Anyway,
it was very cool.
Side tangent. Yeah, I got an A.
It was good. So did I. Yeah, it was great. So fun.
Yeah.
So what was I going to say? Oh, so I have a few Sweetie scary scenes.
Okay.
Mainly just, so this scene has haunted my dreams since I saw it pretty much. And I think is the reason why I always get spooked by these things in movies. So when Ernest goes down to the morgue to collect Madeline, he sees these 3 nuns in the like basement morgue float by. And it's the scariest fucking thing I still have ever seen in my life. I don't know. It's just something about people floating.
What do you think the purpose of that was?
Just to be
spooky?
Spooky. Like the whole movie really
It
is
is
very
really
spooky.
spooky.
And that just, I mean, I think that pushed it over the edge into like scary. When I was little, like that scared me so bad. Like I had nightmares about that. So I just really hate anything where people are floating or gliding like that. It really freaks me out. So that scene always gives me the heebie-jeebies. Even as soon as you saw it, you were like, like, so I knew that I was right in that.
Well, again, creepy music in the background too.
Well, I thought that was them crying, like,
but it sounded like music.
Ugh. Yeah, it was scary. And then the other thing that always creeped me out, and just actually a lot of scenes creep me out, but this one always just gives me the heebie-jeebies also because it's like a 90s. Sometimes the 90s scares, like...
The 90s scares me.
There's something about it. And I think that this movie's like the perfect example, and it's satirizing this kind of, in that like there was definitely a thirst for like youth and vitality, right? In the 90s, I would say. Like there was all these diet movements and like exercise movements.
Right.
More so, I think,
feel
in
like
other decades.
I think we've finally gotten over that now because there is such a movement now to just
Accept
aging gracefully and just be yourself and not care what anyone else thinks. That's like a huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't pretend and do that kind of stuff at all. You're in the 90s. I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
You should write a book.
Thank you. So this rejuvenation clinic always freaked me the fuck out. So she goes in, it's like, seems like just a regular kind of spa sort of place. But then you see like this woman walk out of a room holding this like bowl filled with blood. And you're like, what the fuck? And then the mirror of the door reflects the patient inside. And he's in this weird like hamster wheel with all these tubes tied, like stuck to him in blood. And he's like going around and he's like, like, that really freaked me out. It's just like, what kind of fucking crazy shit is going on in there?
It's unbelievable if you have money and what you can do, because it's funny, like watching something like this and we're like, wow, like we can like just pay our apartment rent. Like we're never going to be like throwing away like thousands of dollars, like extra money so we could like get facelifts.
It was the
It's
90s.
just so funny.
We had no problems.
Yeah, that's true. But still, it's just like, it's just so funny that people are like, disposable income. Let's do like boat leg, whatever. Like I wash my face every day. Done.
Yeah. Cool.
Beauty treatment.
Cool.
Fixed.
Cool. Totally. I mean, we do the mask every now and
I just got a
again.
new mask.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Do
I got it at
that
Old
later.
Navy.
What?
Yeah, so Old Navy now is like this crazy impulse purchase. Like,
Yeah,
section.
I noticed that.
Oh crap! I got
didn't
two
even look.
things. Oh my god, sidetracked.
What's the other thing you got?
I got this really nice perfume. I don't know if you can smell it now. Sea salt and fig.
Subtle.
Yeah.
Interesting. Little. Different. Little yellow.
Little
Different.
different. Anything else you got there?
Oh, I love Helen's sexy red dress from her book party. I just okay. So I was thinking about
Icky shoes though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Those. What are those called? Like strappy sandals.
I think my like shoes my sister had, older sister,
For
in
her
her prom.
Those black
the
ones.
covered toe.
Yeah.
What was with the covered toe?
Totally. Also in Clueless, she has a pair like that.
Okay, I'm so glad the covered toe is gone.
Yeah. No, but the red dress super hot. Like just great. Perfect slit. Like
Goldie's looking awesome in this.
Yeah.
And cool with the red hair. Creepy eyes
Oh,
though.
yeah.
I don't know why they made her eyes so light.
Well, because remember when Ernest was fixing you mean before she died?
Is it
her eyes
because
were
she's
like that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
That's what.
because
That's
remember
not her
Ernest
real
was
eye color.
No.
though. Yeah.
But remember Ernest was freaking out, like trying to get Madeline's eyes like to look right. He's like, the coloring's all off. Do you want people to stare?
Yeah.
And it was because it's like, I guess when you, I don't know if this really happens or not. Maybe they just created this for the movie, but yeah, they give her these like, and then when she dies, her eyes are like white.
Because that's not Goldie Hawn's natural eye color.
Before she died, no, definitely not. But yeah, so she's definitely wearing contacts.
Okay. Yeah, they're like, she almost has like white eyes when she's dead, and then they darken up a little when she's like dead but fixed. But Yeah, no, but she looks great. I was like, that's a nice hair color for her. Yeah, it's different.
You liked the lipstick, didn't you?
I did. I was like, the red lip. And I found it interesting that they put always Meryl in white, and like Goldie Hawn was always in red, except for the dream sequence that Goldie Hawn imagines, where she's in white and Meryl's in red.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Because Meryl's the meaner one. So why would she? Well, that's funny. Like, why is she in white?
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah. Do you have anything else?
I just want to mention a couple Sweety Club alumni. So, super random one, which Sweety didn't even realize.
I still didn't see it.
I looked it up in the credits. So the secretary in Big is in this. She is like in
Mrs. Patterson.
2 seconds in the mental hospital scene.
She was a patient, like in the circle.
Yes.
Okay. What?
Yeah.
Where was she in relation to? Was she
Can you
on the
imagine, like,
end?
so Big was in 1989. So like 3 years later, she has like a 3-second role in another scene.
Maybe she had a bigger scene and it got deleted. I don't know.
That's true.
I noticed in the IMDb, did you see that Jonathan Silverman was listed?
No, you can see him in like one of the circles. He was like one of the people asking for her number at the book reading.
So maybe they cut that scene out because he has a name like in the credits. So
and someone else was Tracy Ullman had like a big role in this, and then she was in the previews and they cut her out. Yeah, so I think this one actually film had a lot of editing.
Yeah,
they said they showed it to people like focus groups or whatever, and they like ended up cutting like a lot of stuff out. So obviously Goldie Hawn from Overboard and First Wives Club. Mm-hmm. Bruce Willis, who was the voice of Mikey from Look Who's Talking. And, surprise, I didn't know this one, Marilyn Trainer, who has now made it in, actually, she might actually be this is the fourth or third?
Wait,
Maybe
was
this
she
is the
in?
third too.
Wait, so Monster Squad.
Yeah.
We haven't done the Goonies yet, so she wasn't in
maybe
that.
that's it. Okay, so this is the third for her
What
too.
else was she? What
But
was the other
third,
one?
Goldie Hawn. She's 2 moms, so she's mom in Monster Squad, mom in something we just watched, Little Giants.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So this is third for her too. Okay.
right,
So
all right.
Marilyn
Tied.
Trainer and Goldie Hawn
Neck
tied
and
for
neck.
the lead with 3 movies. She's going to be in Goonies, so she's already going to be in 4.
If we do Look Who's Talking 2, then Bruce Willis will sneak up again. So just
No, but
throwing
I'm
that
just
out
saying,
there.
I'm just saying for women.
Whatever.
But unless we have to do another Goldie Hawn. That's what I'm saying.
Private Benjamin.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen a bunch of these movies, but I see them anyways for you, for the podcast. Yeah, good handle of alums. Yeah, I just like the older I get, the more I like Bruce Willis as an actor.
Well, I was gonna say, wow, like he should just he's really funny.
Yeah.
And should do comedies, but he has done like a lot of comedies. I think just ones I haven't seen.
Yeah.
And
like,
Die Hard is like, remember we saw Die Hard for the first
is
time?
essentially a comedy. Like he's just and I think that even in his role in Pulp Fiction, he was kind of funny also. So it's just like his nature. Right. I mean, the only time he like really wasn't funny was like probably like Unbreakable. I don't think he like.
Have you ever seen The Whole 9 Yards? No. So that's like some people's like love that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that the one in prison?
No, it's with Matthew Perry.
What's that one? Oh, The Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard.
It's confusing. Football confuses me a lot.
Oh wait, was The Whole 9 Yards the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then The Longest Yard
I
is the
think
football
so.
one. Yeah.
Because the football yard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We don't know what I'm talking about.
Don't quote us.
I wanted to talk 1 second and talk about a Sweety childhood story. Okay. So there's Doberman Pinschers in this movie. The Isabella Rossellini character has Doberman Pinscher like guard dogs in this mansion. Every time I see a Doberman Pinscher, I'm reminded of, so in our road growing up, down our road, there was a guy who was a dog trainer, but he had these 2 Doberman Pinschers. We had like an Isuzu Trooper. Do you remember those guys?
Yes.
And he would ride around with his 2 Doberman Pinschers, and they were really scary. They were very well trained. Obviously, he was a dog trainer, but terrifying dogs. So it was like for us, like the scary place in the neighborhood, like to go near that house because of the scary dogs that they had, right?
Did they bark though? They're so well
they
trained.
barked. No, they barked a lot. So one time, like they got out and were running around the neighborhood, and me and my summer friend Rachel, remember, were outside playing, and they like chased after us. So I like made it home, but my friend Rachel was like obviously not a good runner. Made it to like the neighbor Helen's house. Remember like Helen and Tony,
Yes.
and like got to their house and like started crying on their doorstep, being like, let me in, dogs are after me. And was like in their house crying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All these years, I thought that the story was you were playing on that weird industrial road like by our house.
Yeah, we were doing that. Oh, yeah.
I thought the dogs were guard dogs for that place.
No,
you didn't tell me it was the weird dog trainer in the Isuzu's dogs.
It was them.
They're just random dogs.
I think it was them.
Oh, man. Wow. Crazy.
So I always think of that. And I'm sure they would not have hurt us at all. But it was just it was almost like in like the Sandlot where there's that like scary dog, but you've never actually like really seen it or been around it. So you just like think it up in your head. But then if you were ever around them, you'd be like, oh, what a sweet dog. And we're such crazy dog people now. I mean, at that point, we didn't have a dog yet. Oh, no, we didn't.
No, we did. We've always had.
Well, our dog was so sweet.
Yes.
Anyway, good story.
Yeah, sweetest story time. Yeah.
Dobermans. Yeah. Dobermans are wicked weird looking, though. If you've ever seen the tiny mini ones, they're kind of cute.
Yeah, they're totally cute.
They're like shrunken.
Totally cute. But yeah, I guess that's all. Anything else you need to add? I don't think so. I feel like I
it was
missed
a really
something.
interesting movie. I mean, I don't think this is not one I would like call out or no. I'll take that back. I just think it's really an interesting, different kind of film, and like you said, like really spooky and like kind of creepy and what is that word I love to say? Macabre from Addams Family. Macabre. In a really good, like funny way.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed this
Yay.
tonight. Thank you.
Hooray! We did it. Yeah. So thank you for listening. Please like us. And you can't like us on
Like
iTunes.
Like us, you
Please
really
like
us.
Please leave a review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter at the Sweety Club and on Instagram at Large Marge Sent Us.
Shout out to my friend Sarah's birthday, our number one fan.
Sarah, we love you.
Love you. Happy birthday. Thanks for being our number one fan and just being with us from the very beginning and still an avid listener. We love you so much.
Yep, we do. Thank you so much. And the rest of you, start living up to Sarah's example and be awesome.
Yeah.
Just kidding. You all are. You're all awesome.
You're awesome.
We love you. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.